Welcome to WJOB's Beyond the Uniform podcast, where we discuss the issues affecting veterans who have transitioned out of their uniform and into the challenges of civilian life. Now here's your host.
Welcome back, everybody, to Veterans Views Podcast. My name is Connie Karis. I am one of your co-hosts, along here with Steve Bramer and Donna Dunn. How are you, folks?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy to be here.
Yes, we have an excellent show for you today. I can't wait to get into it. We have some incredibly special and unique people here on the podcast today, and I can't wait to introduce you to them. Just to give you a little foundation setup here to the folks we'll be talking to. As many of our audience know, I am involved with an organization called 22 Too Many, and that is an organization that honors our heroes, our veteran heroes who have fallen to the war within. And what this amazing organization does is it pairs people with the survivors of these heroes. We carry the photos of them on us during any kind of an event, or even not even an event. We carry them out with us somewhere. But an athletic event generally of some sort, whether it be a foot race or a bicycle race or something. And we also establish relationships with the surviving family members and loved ones. And it's an amazing organization. It's been around for a few years, and we have the co-founder, Keri Jacobs, with us, and an amazing individual, Rosie Gagnon. Am I pronouncing your last name? I never asked you, my dear friend. Is that how it's pronounced? Pronounce your last name.
Gagnon.
Gagnon, thank you. And Rosie is a Gold Star mother who, in honor of her son, United States Marine Corps PFC James Dexter Morris, is running 100-mile races in his honor, and to raise awareness of suicide prevention, and also honor some of the other family members who she carries as well on her during all of her races. And Rosie, you just finished the 95th of your 100 races. Welcome to you both, Keri and Rosie. We are so glad to have you on here. So let's actually start. Let's start with you first, Keri, before we talk to Rosie. Keri, please tell us, why did you start 22 Too Many? What inspired you to do this, to this wonderful organization?
When we set out to start it, we didn't know what we were starting. So I had a couple of running friends, Dana, who's the other co-founder. She's a veteran. I'm a military mom. My son was deployed, and I was in one of these Facebook groups, online Facebook groups for the parents. And I met another woman named Susan who was very worried about her son, Andy, who had served in Iraq and in Afghanistan. And she was worried about his post-traumatic stress. I invited her and Andy to this warrior getaway I volunteered every year. And unfortunately, by the time she got the message, she wrote me back and said he had died.
Oh.
And it was, I think, maybe his meds weren't managed. I don't know if it was an overdose, intentional or not. I'm not sure. But I had a marathon coming up, so I asked permission to run for him, and she said yes. So I printed up his picture, put it on my back, ran, got the medal, sent it to the family. And then I started getting, this was 2012, and they said the per day was, 18 at the time of suicides. And then I found out, I had two other friends that wanted to carry also some soldiers in a race. We had another race coming up. And so 5 of us carried. By then we had 3 soldiers who had died by suicide. And we always get permission from the families. It's not somebody we just go grab their, photos off the internet. And we carried those. And then I said, I just started doing a lot of research. And I found this is Chip. He's the first Marine, I ever ran in memory of. And I found a quote that his dad, Boyd Wicks, made. And it was on the internet because I was just doing a lot of research. And he said, no one cares. trip served in Iraq, early years of Iraq. Nobody cares about these dead heroes. They're forgotten and swept aside. And that quote just stopped me in my tracks. I said, I'm never, ever not going to run for them. So by that time, we had another like a marathon in D.C., half marathon coming up. And the numbers had just been increased to 22 a day. You know, I know that's a symbol now. Nobody is ever going to know exactly how many there are, but it's a symbol. And we had 11 runners and 11 soldiers and Marines. And I said, oh, that's 22 too many. And hey, let's call ourselves that. I just thought, it was going to be just a running thing for a few of us. But it's grown, just word of mouth. People will see somebody's picture on somebody else's back. And then a lot of people did Army 10 miler. And it's just, we've grown from just doing running to like biking. There's people doing motorcycle events. And we always make sure you have to carry a picture. You need to read their story. You need to remember, those that have lost their lives due to their inner battles. So, and unfortunately, we've grown from, those 11 back then to over 500 now. And, wow. And I met Rosie as a result of all this. So that's how we got started.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yes. And you seem to never rest. The capacity that you have to give to everybody, and I hope you're taking care of yourself enough, because I know, gosh darn it, when I even carry the beautiful Marines that I do at an event just for one day, I am absolutely emotionally exhausted for like the next week or so. So I can only imagine what you're going through doing this for so many people. You're always at an event, you're always traveling, you're always doing. We just recently, for one of the other Marines who I carry, United States Marine, Corporal Kyle David Whistler. We were up in Midland, Michigan recently to presented a bench in his honor, and you were there. You go everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, I just can't. I don't know where you get your strength. I know you're a person of faith, with a grateful heart, and I mean you're a model for everybody, for all of us. I just hope you're taking care of yourself enough too.
Thank you.
So absolutely.
I mean, it's a privilege to meet the families. I'm always a little nervous, but every time I do, it's like we just have a bond, and it's just it's amazing. So I've met Rosie in the middle of one of her 100 milers was the first time I met her. So it's such a privilege. That gives me a lot of strength.
And which one now, Rosie? Which race did Keri meet you at at what one of your 100 milers? Do you remember?
I think we met. It was the Swami Shuffle virtual 200 miler.
Wow.
Oh, right.
The Swami.
Back to back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you say 200 miler?
Yeah, it was a 200 miler.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. So what time you ran from your house?
I ran from my house in Berryville, Virginia to Washington, D.C., to the Marine Corps Memorial and around the monuments, and then ran back home. And it was 200
That's
miles.
where I brought you a burger.
Yeah.
You, man.
Wow.
Good job.
How long did that take you?
Yeah.
I think it is 68 hours.
Wow.
That's impressive.
So,
nice.
Wow.
Yeah, it was painful.
I bet.
I bet your whole foot was a blister after that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Especially on pavement the whole way. That was not something I wanted to do again.
And I remember that year. Did you not win it? I thought you won it.
I won the virtual.
Yes.
Yeah, I was the fastest virtual time. Yeah.
And let me add also that Rosie runs on a partially prosthetic knee to boot.
Wow.
So
nice.
I can't think of a more.
What's a virtual? Explain to everybody what a virtual race is.
So yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah, you go to a location like Swami Shuffle's held out on the Outer Banks in North Carolina, but sometimes you can run it on a course of your choice. You sign up for the race, but instead of going, you run the miles wherever you're at. So,
okay.
So you put in the miles, but you're not on the course with the other runners.
Oh, wow.
And I can't remember if that was the COVID year or there was some reason why they did
I could
the
believe it
virtual that
being
year.
during the COVID year.
Yeah, it sounds
I remember that actually
Yeah,
on social media. I was attached to you, and it was during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yes, and things had opened by then because things had closed briefly in 2020.
Yeah.
But this was after things had opened, but we were still social distancing.
Yeah.
People still had not gone
Right.
fully back to work. I remember this clearly, and I remember how you won, and I wasn't surprised. I was elated. And the virtual thing, by the way, this is how I actually met Rosie, speaking of virtual, because when we did close down in 2020, at the time that the COVID-19 pandemic closed the world and closed down things here, I was managing Anytime Fitness Clubs in South Chicago, Cook County, Southern Cook County in Illinois. And I closed the fitness clubs I was managing on March 20th. And then after that, I didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't have a job. I went on unemployment. I filed for unemployment, and I got involved in a virtual race called the Great Virtual Race Across Tennessee. And I know that both of our guests here are familiar with that. And what we did was we actually ran where we were physically, but then we would log our miles and advance across the state virtually of Tennessee. And then that was over. That was that ended in May of 30. That was a 4-month-long race that started in May and ended at the end of August. And then what were we going to do with ourselves?
Wow.
Yes. I was like, what am I going to do with myself now? Well, the same race director, Gary Cantrell, Laz Lake, as we call him, he did something. He created another race called the Circumpolar Race Around the World, CRAW for short. We were crawling around the world. And with 9 other military veterans, some of whom were active military personnel, we did 30,000 miles virtually around the world. So wherever we were running, we ran in real time, right? Geographically, and then we would advance with this map across the world, and we finished it in a year. And in doing that race, that's how I learned of Rosie and 22 Too Many. And but actually, Keri, do you want to tell the story about how you and I met? Do you remember that?
Well, you emailed me. Well, met in person?
No, but came to for me to become involved with 22 Too Many.
I know you emailed initially. It took me, unfortunately, a little while to get back to you, and then we did email a lot and talked of like military sexual trauma and different things, and your own PTS experience. And I wanted to make sure you had somebody to carry, and you introduced you to a couple of families. I introduced you to a couple of families, and it was wonderful to meet you finally in person too.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, that was a thrill. It was a bittersweet occasion, but it did bring us together for some postvention to help the Whistlers to continue healing. But I want to mention too, you were so instrumental in helping me with my own MST at that time, because I was lost. I wasn't in touch with it, and I was just starting to have things come to the foreground of it. And carrying these heroes with 22 Too Many helped me heal from my MST. So I want to say thank you for that. I mean, you're touching people in ways that you have no idea. And I didn't lose anybody to suicide. That wasn't the reason I was reaching out to you. I wanted to get a little bit of help with the veteran community for suicide, but then you helped me to help with my MST, and I want to thank you for that. But all that aside, you know what I want to do? I want to talk to Rosie here. Rosie, oh my goodness graciousness, what you are doing. I am following Rosie. Everybody, you can follow Rosie online. Rosie has both a blog and a public Facebook page. And you can find her, she, as I had mentioned earlier, she's doing 100-mile races. And this is where you can find her. It's called 1, the numeral 1, and then the word 100, and then the numeral 100, S, numeral 4, and the word Dexter. That's her son. Again, so it's 1, numeral, the word 100, and then 100S, the numeral 4, and then Dexter. So 100, hundreds, for Dexter. And if you go to that, that's a Facebook page, and it's also, you're on IG too, aren't you, Rosie?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Yes. And you have a wonderful blog as well. And you chronicle all these races. I see you only got to 91, though. You haven't updated your blog yet. So, but
Yeah.
you're a busy person. You're a busy woman. Tell us about the number 95 that you finished recently, the Uray 100. Tell us what that was like.
Okay. Well, that was pretty exciting. It was my second time running it. Uray 100 is considered one of the most difficult trail races in the entire world. Definitely. You have about 40 feet to climb, and then about that much descent, and all above 13,000 feet altitude, where you go over back and forth over I think like 7 mountain passes, so 14 passes or summits that you're climbing, and you have about 52 hours to do it, and it is rugged and wild and technical, and it's an adventure, and it's spectacular. The course is beautiful. So I went out with a friend who crewed and paced me through the last crewed through 75 miles and then paced me the last 25 or so, something like that. But anyway, it's just one of those races where you go out, and no matter how experienced or trained you are, you don't know if you're going to be able to finish because there's so many unknowns and it's so difficult. So I was thrilled to finish with an hour to spare and got that second Uray finish. So when my kids were small, we lived in Colorado for a while. So Colorado is sort of a place that I like to go and remember, how much I enjoyed the mountains with Dexter and his siblings when they were little. And so kind of an iconic place for me. And so it feels really good to go out and get that race done out there. And, not bad for a mom.
Now, you weren't always an ultra runner, Rosie. Tell us how you got into this after the death of Dexter. How did this all come about?
Well, when he got sick in the Marine Corps, what happened is he tore his ACL, and they put him on opioids and on 6 months of basically just sitting in a room, and it caused an onset of bipolar disorder, schizoid disorder, the medication. His brain chemistry. He medical discharge, and I think destroyed him. He lived for about a year and a half after that, but he just went downhill because all he ever wanted to do is be a Marine, and that was his life dream. And then he was just not a person who wanted to be 100% disabled. He was a fighter. But anyway, so that year where he was just getting sicker and spiraling, I was already running, 4 or 5 miles a day, but to deal with the emotional stress and worry and everything about him, I started running long distances. So I'd finished 250 milers, and he actually encouraged me to try out a first 100 miler when I even heard they existed. So I was training for that when he passed away. So I went and tried to run that 2 months after he died, and I bombed it. But it was a good learning experience, and I realized that I just there's things that are really hard, and you just have to find a way through them. And that was sort of symbolic for me. I loved that struggle and triumph, especially after him losing his life. It kind of gave me a chance to understand, reaching rock bottom, not being able to keep going. And so then I ran my first one, and just decided that I wanted to keep going and do that to honor him. So,
how did you get through that time?
Oh, running. That running literally my life. I mean, he shot himself, and me and my ex-husband and my youngest son found him, and it was just so traumatic. But I was in the habit of getting up every day, putting my shoes on and lacing up. And so that was so ingrained into me that when I didn't want to, shower or cook or do anything, I still could get up and put my shoes on. So I would go out and I ran just ridiculous amount of miles. I mean, I do 120-mile week. Wow. I just get up and run for 4 or 5 hours, sometimes in the middle of the night, and I would just scream and cry. And but it was also it was really healing, just using the physical activity helped like purge through the emotions of the day. So for probably 2 years, a day to day, So I would go out and run for 4 or 5 hours and I come home and fix breakfast and clean the house, which I wouldn't, otherwise I just would have stayed in bed all day. So it was survival, really crazy.
How did you come about to want to do 100 milers? How did that happen?
I was I think it was probably my somewhere 5th to 8th. I don't know. I have to look back. And I was, at that point, I was just carrying Dexter's picture. And I almost didn't finish that race. And I had a race director, Jeremy Followay, and another gal named Megan. They came out. He ran out like 6 miles and ran with me to the finish to make sure that I could finish it. And it was funny because she took a photograph of us running together, and there was just this beam of light down on us, and it looked like an angelic being that was above us. And I don't know, it just struck me like the help that I received to finish that. It was like I felt Dexter told me, you've done enough to run for me. Find a way to help somebody else. Like these guys helped you, we could help somebody. And then it was at that race that I met a woman who was tied to 22 Too Many and Wear Blue Run to Remember. So she connected me with Keri and with Wear Blue, and then I just decided. There is actually a group of people who've done 100 hundreds. I think there's maybe 33 in the world finished, but I didn't know that it existed at the time. All I knew was that it just sounded like the thought of living the life. I was 40 in my late 40s, and when Dexter passed away, and I thought, I can't live with this pain every day for 40 years. Like, how am I going to do that? And so, to me, to set this like outlandish goal gave me something that I could live for and work toward. A small term, the daily goals, the monthly goals, races. It was something to focus on and concentrate on, so that like the rest of my life didn't seem so like such a big wasteland of sadness. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, but it was just basically to set that big goal. So it happened a lot faster than I thought it would. I thought it would literally take me like 30 years to do it, but I'll finish it up in like 7.5 since he passed away. So.
Yeah, well, it might even be before that, because I'm looking at your blog right now, 100 hundreds for Dexter, and your first race, your first 100, Lighthouse 100, was September 19th, 2019. And we're at what?
Actually, it was 20. That was when I did blog. It was actually June of 2018.
Oh,
so
okay.
It was shortly he passed away. Yeah. So.
Well, number 77,
it took me a while.
Well, still, I mean, even if it takes you 10 years, 100 mile races, I can't, my dear, I notice, I don't know how you do this, because as we know, I'm an exercise physiologist, and what you do defies physics. It defies reality, because you don't rest nearly enough, and I'm amazed how you're able to mother's love. This is a mother's labor of love like I've never seen. I've seen you do 100-mile races back to back with only maybe a week of rest between them. And I remember seeing you. I met you actually at number 77, the Mid-States 100.
That's right.
Yes, and that was that was so emotional. I'll never forget that. And just to give everybody an idea how amazing Rosie is, I went on one 6-mile jaunt crewing you through that. I struggled just to keep up. And then I was going to do a second maybe 5 or 6 miles with you, and I couldn't. I felt like I was going to pass out. And you went on all by yourself, and you looked just completely fine, like there was nothing, like you were just taking a jaunt in the park. And but yeah, I don't know where you get your strength. It's just amazing, and you're saving lives, and it's just amazing. But I mean, the cumulative, I know you do a lot of very hilly hundreds. We're not just talking about flat stuff here. You do trail ones. How many cumulative feet of ascent and descent do you think you've done so far in these 95 100 milers?
Oh, I think we lost her.
Did we lose her? You there, Rosie?
I think her screen is frozen.
Yeah, her screen's frozen.
I mean, how long?
We'll try to get her back.
How long does it take to do a 100-mile run?
It depends on, again, if it's a trail race that's extremely technical, has a lot of ascent and descent in elevation, or if it's a flat track. Now, when I did 100 milers, I did a lot. I loved track ultras. I used to go and do track ultras, and I started my very first time. I did 100K. And then I went to starting to do 100 milers, and then I wasn't satisfied with that.
100 miles all at once? Do you rest in between?
You rest. You now only the front runners that win these things. Yeah. They'll still even walk. They'll walk. That's considered their rest. We mere mortals, we will take a little bit of break, fix our feet. We will sit in a chair in a bag, and we'll take a little cat nap, maybe 20 minutes. That's re-energizing, and then you keep going, and you eat throughout the entire thing. So you're up at night. If you're a mere mortal, you'll have to go through the night. If you're not, you finish these things in 13, 14 hours.
Wow.
So
I can't even imagine.
Did we get...
Whoa.
Can we try to get Rosie back, Kemper?
Hold on. 100 miles?
Yeah.
Wow.
These are the front run.
My feet would fall off.
No, but these are the elite ones.
Yeah.
These are most people take at least 24 hours, and there's a cutoff for a lot of these. For the ultra mountain ones that Rosie's doing, there's usually like a 30,
and you have to have support people
cutoff
there as well.
Yes, and I was going to, we can talk when we get Rosie back about all these crew folks that help her. When I helped her at the number 77 at the Mid-States, I helped crew her, and I went. And what they do is you mule. She had all her. She carries everything herself. Yeah, she's self-sufficient. But some people, if it's a multi-day race, you have to carry their electrolytes and their food and that kind of thing. Wow. Some races don't allow that. Some races outlaw that. You can't have a mule. It just depends.
You have to carry it yourself.
It's self-supporting.
My plantar fasciitis would be. Yeah. They'd be screaming.
Right.
I wouldn't be able to walk the next day.
Yeah.
If I could even get through it, I doubt it.
And it looks like we lost both Rosie and Keri, but we're getting them back here.
Keri's still there.
Keri's there. Are you there, Keri?
Texted. Yeah. She texted. She's trying to join. She's trying to rejoin.
Okay. Yeah, I know there was a bit of a connectivity problem there for a while. She was kind of going in and out. I think she's in the woods actually right now where she's zooming from. So
yeah, I hope she can get back.
Yeah.
Now, Keri, how many people do you have that in your organization that are part of the organization that do the running and have the pictures on their backpack or on their back or?
Well, you don't really have to be a part of it. If people just email us or they message us on 22 Too Many and say, I want to run Marine Corps Marathon, or I want to run a 5K, or I just want to go take a walk in the woods. And sometimes they'll select their own picture. They're all on our website. Okay. And they're also on our Facebook page. And they can download the pictures and print them, download them, put them in a page protector so they don't, if it rains, you'll get them all messed up. And so it's gone from just some running friends to just literally, around the world even sometimes, we might get a message from a base, like in Germany one time, there was a chaplain there. He lost one of his friends, and he got all his, fellow soldiers there running a 5K in Germany. And I love getting pictures because we want to get a picture of everybody with their carrying or wearing their picture. And, let's see, Rosie. Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't know if I had a text.
That's me. I texted you. That was me.
Okay. Well, one of the other times I met Rosie was she did the Marine Corps Marathon, not this past year, but the year before. And she did I did the 26, you do the 26.2 miles and you're wiped out. Yeah. Well, she did it and then did 75 more miles.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah. Wow.
So we actually, and I think she really, like she says, prefers trail running, like running on the streets of D.C. gets really, And, but she did all that. And Dexter was on the Blue Mile. If y'all are familiar with the Blue Mile, the shirt she has on, Wear Blue, Run to Remember. They're just lined with fallen heroes. And Dexter was on there, and then she carries four of our Marines regularly and is really great friends with the families. So all of them were also on the Blue Mile. So it was very emotional. I think I ran the next morning with her, maybe the last 10 miles. A few of us, we had like sign-ups to where you could run with her as soon as she was done with the Marine Corps Marathon. You could continue on with her for the 75 more miles. But all of us are just doing little fragments. We're not doing all that, all that. So that was amazing. And, she taught, she is a comfort to people, because I know in these, the 100 miles she does, she'll talk to people that are struggling, because they'll, see the pictures on her back and start asking her questions. So I know she's talked, people out of crisis, and she's also connected with, other families that are hurting so much, and she can identify with that. So I know she's a huge help and encouragement to so many. And the families are the ones, the 4 that she carries. She's an artist. She paints. She'll find a rock on her 100-miler. Oh, here she is. And she'll paint them some remembrance and mail it to them. And it's just amazing.
Very thoughtful.
Wow. Now, how would a family go about getting their veteran on your site? How does that work?
They can contact, they can email me on 22toomany.org or contact me on the Facebook.
Okay.
And we have a form they fill out because we want to get their permission to get a picture and get information about them.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, welcome back.
Welcome back, Rosie.
Hey. I don't know what happened, but I'm back.
Well, good to have you back. Yeah, we have the limits of technology, that's for sure. And where are you again in Virginia?
I'm in Galax, Virginia.
Yeah.
Southwest mountains.
Yeah, very mountainous, probably a lot of tree cover, I would imagine, right?
Oh, there is. Yeah, there is. It's not the Rockies, but it's probably as close as I'll get unless I move out there. So I love it. It's beautiful.
I love the Rockies. I agree.
I
know.
How many races do you run a year?
Probably the last 2 years, I've done around 20.
And they're all 100 miles.
They are. And they're not all races. Like, some of them, when I started, I didn't think that it would at all be races. Like, I've done some solos where I've just gone out and run 100 miles by myself. So, but the last 2 years, I think all but 1 or 2 have all been actual races. So I realized once I discovered that they have an actual, record book for that, I discovered that I needed to do races because only races qualify for that. So now I'm just doing races. But that wasn't when I started, it was just, all about the distance. They're harder than races. Like, you're not competing against anyone, but you also support. It's all up to you to apply and do the miles yourself.
So tell us, while we lost you and we're trying to get you back there for a few minutes, Donna had a question about who helps you? Who's the crew? Tell us what a typical 100-miler consists of. Who helps you? How does it go? I know they're all different, but you're pretty much self-sustaining. But tell us, do you have pacers? Do you have people carrying your supplies? What's a typical one like?
Well, first year or so, I'll give credit to my ex-husband. He was very helpful. He would show up and usually bring me supplies. Occasionally would do, a 10-mile stretch or something with me. Since now that I'm single and unrelated to running issues, mostly I do them by myself. I pack up my car and I have a mattress in the back of my SUV, so I just usually sleep somewhere around the beginning of the race. And most courses will allow you to have a drop bag, so where I can put light or extra shoes or socks or coats or whatever, emergency supplies. When I'm very lucky, I'll have someone who will come and like when Connie came to help me at the Midwest, whatever that was called.
Midwest States.
Yeah, having someone who just is there because, after so many miles, one of the real challenges of that distance is just your cognitive abilities, because fatigue, you're so exhausted that you can't think clearly anymore. And it's really strategic. You have to stay on top of your fueling and hydration and just so many, keeping track of where you are, not getting lost like I did actually at that at that race Connie came to help me with. But so having a crew there who can, refill your bottles and ask you questions, what do you need? And you need to be eating this much or whatever. That's very helpful. And also late in the race, having someone who will come and pace is very helpful. I'm pretty experienced at the just single overnight, so I do pretty well. But if I have a race that takes 2 nights, like URA 100, if you don't have a pacer, it can be a real challenge. And actually, out of URA, it's almost like a safety issue because the altitude can really mess with your brain, so you're just not really thinking well.
You could go off a cliff.
Fortunately, oh my gosh, seriously, I would have. Yeah, especially a couple of those out and back, they're very, you're up 3,000 or 4,000 feet and it's just a drop off.
Wow.
So fortunately, I have a race directing business campground thing, and my business partner, best friend, Kevin Sylvie, he drove out to Colorado to help me with the URA, because he knows that's just almost impossible to do by yourself. I would have if I would have had to, but he stepped in the second night, and I was hallucinating. I was like kind of delusional. I couldn't really think very well. At one point, I had to hold on his arm and just close my eyes, and I literally fell asleep running to get back there. I know, it was crazy. But he's like, okay, you need. I was cutting up close to cutoffs, and he's like, I don't care. You need like a nap. So he made me lay down and set in the water like 20 minutes. And then I woke up and took off, and I think I passed 10 people in the last 10 miles, just that reset, So just having somebody to just sort of like babysit you, help you think clearly, not get lost, not die. So, but for the most part, I'm on my own doing them. So,
and you only have 5 more left. What do you see beyond these 100 races?
Well, the next goal is to actually get into the record books. So I need to do about 20 more races, and that will get me onto the list of official people who've completed that. And then after that, if my legs hold out and my income holds out, I'm the woman in the world that's done 200 100 milers.
Wow.
And so I think that'd be a cool, because I finished this one too fast.
Oh, Rosie!
Oh my goodness! Wow, you are amazing.
But it's like, we'll see. I probably won't do 20 a year, but maybe 12 a year, like once a month. I could do that. Like that would be backing down. And
how do you find that?
We'll see. I think that's my.
I'm curious how you find that energy at, when you're on miles 50 or 60 or whatever. How do you find the overcome the mental part of that to keep going? How do you do that? I'm not a big runner, obviously, but
it's a mix. One is caffeine, a lot of caffeine.
Okay.
But also, like the people like Keri and the Marines I'm running for and their families, I think about them when I'm out there, and it's like you can't quit. You have to get this done for them, and just the kind of I don't know. It's almost character you build after you've been through like trauma and grief. It's just not quitting. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
having that.
Go ahead.
I think ultra running is very good for trauma and people who struggle with depression or things like that, because the skills that get you mentally through 100 miler are the same skills that you need to get through like those dark days.
Oh, okay.
The days where you're just like, this is too hard. I don't want to get up. I just quit. I want it to be over. But you've trained yourself to just, another step forward, get done what has to be done, and so it's really it's useful.
Okay.
I'm actually, for my 100th, I'm looking at running a race with a combat veteran. He's a race director up at a race in northern Pennsylvania. He does, I think it's Warrior Trail, and his whole race is about getting veterans who struggle with trauma out onto the trails and doing ultras. And it's a form of is it called EMDR therapy? The way that your eyes and your brain engages as you're moving and you're looking around, and the movement involved is, I didn't realize at the time that's actually very effective trauma therapy, especially, when you're out there, you're thinking about, you have memories or whatever. And so as you're processing all of that when you're out on the trail, it's actually really healing. So,
absolutely, and I can attest to that because I was an ultra runner. I started ultra running in 2005, and one really important thing to mention here that you alluded to, Rosie, we're drawn, people who have either addictions or extreme personalities, type A personalities, are really drawn to this as a behavior that, as a pastime, kind of the lesser of two evils. It's still an addiction, but Katra Corbett, known as the Dirt Diva, we know Katra Corbett, very well, Rosie, is in the 100-mile club. And she is a recovering heroin addict, and she took up ultra running, never went back to that drug, but this is now running is her drug. So and a lot of us who have addictive personalities are drawn to this extreme, and I have an extremely addictive personality. Now, I'm not my co-hosts are laughing here. So I'm a type A person, and I was very attracted to ultra running because it was a way to disassociate from trauma that I had early on. Long before I experienced MST, I had experienced rape as a civilian, and it helped. And it helped. A lot of women have this situation, sadly, and so that was my way. Just like you, I've seen you on the trail. It's our zen, and then when I got sick with COVID, because I got sick. I contracted it while I was at the Badwater Ultra Marathon in 2021, and I haven't been able to go back to running. I don't have that zen right now myself. So watching you, my friend, is helping me to inspire me to get back into it. And you're helping keep me going, and you're helping to keep me alive. And I want to thank you for that, if I never told you that before. So, it's a way to keep from looking at your life in a way without getting too depressed. And and I really think I'll probably get back into it. Maybe not the 100 miles, but I can see doing a 50K, which is 31. It's 31 miles. It's probably just a little drop in the bucket for you. You probably do that in every morning, Rosie. So
no, that's a hard distance. It's hard. It's all hard. 5 miles.
Now, do you run every day, or do you just do the 100 milers?
I balance. I run probably 3 days a week, and then 3 days a week I hike.
Oh, okay.
With a weighted vest.
Wow.
Because I like to do mountain races, so I try and balance that out, and then I go for some, 8-mile walk or something on Sundays. That's my rest day, as I walk it. But no, I'm out. But I kind of need to, just for my own mental health, I need to move. I'm just an active person. My grandma, we always called her an Energizer bunny because she was always doing dance and exercise and all those kind of things even into her 80s. And I think I just got her genetics. I'm not the kind that just wants to sit around all day. Now, after I've been out and running, then I'll sit around all day for the rest of the day. But I have that initial surge of, I just got to move and get up and get going. So it's kind of a good time to, reflect or meditate or pray or whatever. It's just a good way to start the day.
And I know both you and Keri are people of great faith. And I've noticed, I wanted to mention this too, getting it when I get up and I don't say thanks to somebody, something, the universe, the Lord. I self-identify as a Christian. I was raised in the Greek Orthodox Church. But for those who don't espouse a religion or just, don't go to church, you don't have to go to church to be a good person. We all know that. You don't even have to have a religion. But when I wake up and I don't thank I don't have a thankful heart, I have a pretty crappy day. And it's just having a grateful heart. What do you do, both of you, in the morning when you get up? Do you have some type of a ritual that you do, some kind of gratitude meditative ritual, or when you go to bed, when you get up? Whoever wants to answer first.
You can go first, Keri.
Well, first off, I'm such a late night person. I'd rather stay up till like 2 a.m. And so when I have to drag myself out of bed to run, it's like, oh. I love music, so I'll listen to, and I play music and I write music. And so I'll listen a lot of times to music based on scripture that's really uplifting. And like you said, being thankful, I'm certainly not. I run around in bad moods and complaining and all that plenty of times. But I feel like, I think I've heard this, like being thankful really changes your brain. It changes the past in your brain, and it helps you, get beyond, some dark times. I mean, it's not an easy answer, but it really is. It's a helpful thing. And so, I'll read scripture, I'll listen to music and, or play music, and that's my help. There's this monk named John Michael Talbot, and he used to be a rock singer, and then he turned into, became a monk, and he's done so many songs, and I'll listen to his music, and it's like my sedative, so it's very calming, and so I find that real helpful.
Okay. Rosie?
Well, I grew up in a very religious culture where, you get on your knees night and day and pray, and I've always tried to make a habit of that. Very sort of ADHD, like I just can't connect or whatever, so sometimes I'll go through that routine, but no, it's really like getting up, putting on my shoes and hitting the road or a trail, and then I'll listen to music and look around at nature and the sky, and then that's when I'll have sort of my little conversation with my son or with God or whatever. And so that's where I find it, is just out. And
you have a new running partner, a new little boo.
Oh yeah,
yes. Do you want? Can you show that little sweetie? Yeah. And who is this?
This is Bentley. He's embarrassed because he has a haircut of shame. I did it myself. I can't pay $80 for a dog haircut, so I just took his scissors to him, and he's chopped. He's a great little therapy dog. He's a Shih Tzu. I took him to Colorado with me, and this little guy is a mountain goat. He did like 7 summits, including 3 14ers on his own feet, except for 1 or 2 times we had to pick him up and lift him over like a big rock or something. Wow. But no, he's a little trooper, and he likes to. Hey, Bentley, you say hi? See this terrible haircut.
I think it's adorable.
He's nice. He's a good boy. He also did a couple 12-mile runs with me. So yeah, he's a sturdy little pup.
Beautiful. How did you come across? How did you come to bring him into your household? And does he have a history of running at all, or is this new to him?
No. Yeah. It's very random. Like 2 months ago, I went to pick up something for the property off Marketplace, and a family had 3 of them. And so I was loving on him because he was super friendly. And like, do you want him? Because we have 3 in there. We just don't have time to take care of him. Like, absolutely. So, I mean, I kind of wanted a little lap dog because I live in a I don't like living alone. I raised a big family, and being all by myself kind of sucks. So I thought about it, but my camper's small, and so he was just, he's little, he doesn't shed, he's super potty trained. So I was just really glad to have him. And then it turns out he's a great little trail dog. So he's kind of, and it was funny because the thing we were picking Marketplace ended up not even being what we needed. So it was almost like we went specifically to get him, So he feels like a little gift.
Now, have you
help me?
That's right. Is Katra Corbett the dirt diva, who, of course, as we know, has run with Doxies on many of her very, very mountainous races? Is she aware of the fact that you have him? Have you met her yet?
I have not met her. No, I haven't. So it sounds like I need to.
Well, you're about five races away from entering the 100-mile club, so I would imagine you probably would, and it would be so cool if you ran with her with her doxies and little Bentley. Wouldn't that be cool?
Wouldn't that be fun?
I think we should just have like a 100-mile race of that alone. you and she. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Hey, we should put one on.
Hey,
I can create one on my race
on your Froggy Mountain. Yeah, honestly, let's do it. And you and I were talking about maybe doing a 100-mile over here at the dunes as well. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that can be one of your post 100 races. So
yeah, that would be awesome. I do need to get up there for sure. Yeah. Oops, I'm sorry. He has a tick. I'm trying to pull it off. But I can...
Oh no!
'Tis the season. There we go. We got it.
Poor Boo Boo.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
On live television. Sorry.
And you
nitpicking.
I wanted to ask you a question too. You said something about official races. Now I know you wanted to keep doing around 120 to make it official. So are some of these 100-mile races not considered then 100-mile official finishes? Is that what you mean by that?
Yeah. Because in order to be on the official list, they have to be sanctioned races, with a race director and pay a race fee and all of that. And a lot, especially early on, I just created my own course. I want to go out and run it, give myself a buckle, and call it a 100-miler because that's what it was. And I always kept it within, what you would expect for that, the difficulty and the distance. Like if I did a road, I would do under 30 hours, So, but because they weren't put on by a race company, they don't count for the official list.
Well,
so,
there's a pretty serious one coming up in France. That's going to be number 96, correct?
That one, that one will be on the list for sure. Yes. That is very serious. And it's August 1st. And I woke up this morning and watched like 3 videos about that race because I'm not terrified of the race, but I'm terrified of the travel and just the whole experience is kind of definitely new to me. So
that's a year from today? I'm sorry.
It's August 28th or 29th.
Okay.
I'm flying into Switzerland on the 25th.
So that's this year.
Yeah, I thought you said August 1st. You said August 20th. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it's at the end of the month. I got 3.5 weeks. Three weeks from next Friday. 3 weeks from... Anyway.
That's probably one of the longest rests you've ever had, right? 3 weeks?
Yeah, it is long. It is long. I know. I'm like trying to think, what can I do training-wise that I can improve just enough, in that short of time to really make that a good race. So
how do you train for that? I mean, what kind of training do you do?
Well, this race is called UTMB, for if you don't know, and it goes through Italy, France, I think Spain, and Switzerland. It circumnavigates like Mont Blanc through the Swiss Alps.
Wow! Yep, the White Mountain.
But it's a major thing. I know. So, but it's a mountain race. It's altitude, but not really high altitude. I think the highest you go is 10,000 feet. So, the acclimation I'm more worried about because I can't go to France 3 weeks early. I can't afford that to get ready for that. But I've heard that that's not so much a problem. But you have very long climbs, long descents, technical terrain, boulder fields. And then also that it's a 46.5-hour cutoff. So you have 2 nights awake. So you have that second night and with no pacer, alone in the mountains on your own for 2 nights.
Wow.
So, I mean, there's other runners and stuff. So, but still, so it's a challenge of, being awake and running for that many hours. But it's the most famous, I would say, ultra marathon in the world. You have to meet,
very stringent requirements
for it. Yeah. You have to qualify for it. And then you have to go into a lottery and hope that your name gets picked. So,
wow. Okay.
Someone had told me about it like right after Dexter passed away, and like I thought, that would be such a dream to run with Dexter in the Swiss Alps. So I'm thrilled that I'll be part of that. first, hundreds. But like, it feels miraculous. I almost didn't enter it because I knew I can't afford it. I don't know how to travel that far, and I probably won't get it in anyway. So I entered the lottery like within a couple hours before the cutoff, and then I got in. So I was like, crap. I mean, I'm like thrilled, but like, oh, dang it, now I actually have to figure out. Like, I've never been overseas, so that's scary. But been handling a little bit at a time. Got my passport, and bought flights and hotel, and just rented a car. And I don't know how to read, road signs over there or drive on the other side of the road. I don't know.
That's
but
an adventure.
I'm trying to treat it like, yeah, it is. I'm trying to treat it like mentally like 100-miler. Like, you just take each little obstacle as it comes, and you'll get through every day. Just as long as I can get to the race start, nothing else matters. Like,
Oh, you're going to slay it like you do everything else. You're going to slay it like you do everything else. I have no doubt. And
I hope.
Oh, remember when I started getting on you? You're not sleeping enough and you're not resting enough, and you told me, "Hey, I have a mission. Stop. You can't detract me." And you are so right. And you are so mission oriented. I have no doubt you're going to do everything that you say you're going to do, and you're just so mission. I've never seen anybody so focused. But I also wanted to mention too about with regard to 22 Too Many, Keri, that we also have a virtual 5K for the 22 Too Many, right? And that is usually in May, correct? I wanted to ask. No, go ahead.
Oh, I mean, Sean Chambers, this runner out in Arizona, he organizes it every year, and it's either the first Saturday in June. This past year we did it in last Saturday in May. But then we have a virtual. It's connected to it. I mean, you get a medal, you get a bib, and you can do whatever you want. It's you can do 100 miles if you want. Yep. A lot of people do a 5K, or they walk, or a half marathon, or it can be it can be biking, or it can just be anything. It's a virtual on your own terms. So we always advertise that starting around in April, May, and we might do something again, like kind of reopen it in the month of September, because that's Suicide Prevention Month, and people can sign up for it. You pay like a race registration, I don't know, $25, $30. You can buy a shirt, but you go do your thing and honor a hero, and you get a really nice medal. I mean, I've got tons of them.
It is a nice medal.
Beautiful. Yeah. Love them. Like, this is a few years. This might be one of our old ones. So we have, different colors every year, and it's just nice. And sometimes people get together and do them together, and that's a nice thing too. So
I did it one year. We have. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying, we have it open every year, and I see you have one of our shirts. So.
Yeah, I did it a couple years with David Ralston, my Marine Corps friend David Ralston, as a matter of fact. But that was my question to you. Which do you remember David Ralston? You remember for a while, Rosie? I think you did way back.
I do. Yes. I do. Yeah.
But that was my question that you just answered. Does it have to be a 5K? We could do anything we want.
No. So I always try to say that. People don't quite understand, but it can be anything. It can be, I'm going to pray every day for the families. I mean, if you're, bedridden or something, right? It's but it can be whatever challenge you come up with,
And we have the American Legion 250 challenge, and I'm challenging Steve and Donna to do a 22 Too Many anything. So let's.
I won't be running. I can tell you that.
Right.
Let's walk a 5K. I'm serious. Let's do it. Let's do it in September.
Could do that in my hip right now. I got to have a hip.
Okay, we'll do something. We'll do 200. We'll do some yard work. Anything. Yeah. Some gardening.
I got plenty of that.
Yeah.
You can mow my lawn.
Yeah. Right. We don't do windows.
Oh darn.
But this is amazing. I mean, go to 22toomany.org. That's again, we said this on the radio show. 22, the numeral, and then the word two, TOO, and then many, MANY.org. And you can sign up for this. You can register for this. You can donate. They welcome donations. And you can get involved. You don't have to be a service member to carry one of the heroes and honor them and be connected to their family and help them to heal. And I'm really impressed by these numbers on the website, Keri. The amount of countries that are impacted by this. I mean, it's amazing. Over 60 countries, the UK, France, Bermuda, Canada. You did a Marine Corps PT workout in Japan, a 5K in Landshut, Germany. Motorcycle events from D.C. to Ohio and Idaho. Did you do anything with the American Veterans Motorcycle Riders Association? Any of those folks?
I mean, we do a lot of, like sometimes an AMVET, American Legion, one of these chapters will contact us. Maybe they're doing a ride and we'll provide them with pictures. There's a gal, Melissa, who lost her son, who's a Marine. She does a great job on mailing and laminating, getting all this stuff organized. There's going to be a cornhole, 22-me cornhole tournament somewhere in Ohio in September.
That's
so we're going to try to get pictures to that. So, anybody can do anything kind of creative that's appropriate, obviously, and to honor our heroes. We had some guys, a bunch of Marines down South Carolina play softball. They all had 22-many, T-shirts, and we'd print a big banner for them and then honor somebody and play ball for them. And,
wow.
We just had a team do hike in Yosemite, and one of the gals, Sierra, she had lost her dad, and Rosie just recently met her in person in Colorado. Yeah. So she organized this hike in Yosemite, and they carried 22 too many and took lots of pictures, because that's what the families want to see. They want to see the pictures of their hero, being carried in races and mountain climbing and, a bike ride, just whatever. They see that their loved one isn't forgotten, and that means a lot. And then when we can send a token, a medal or something. Rosie, when you were gone, I was explaining how you painted the rocks, how beautiful those are. And some kind of token, that's special too. We love doing that. Or we send medals, so that's part of what we do.
And Rosie, go ahead.
I was going to say, can I just give a shout out to Keri, like as a survivor of suicide, especially a veteran. A lot of times families carry shame, or they don't know, or don't if their Memorial Day comes around and you think, am I right to honor him? Is that fair? Because he didn't die in action or whatever. I mean, it sounds silly because it seems obviously yes, but it's just sort of, you're sort of in this where you don't fit in, and when I came in contact with Keri, I mean, she helped me to realize, like, absolutely every one of these guys is worthy of honor, and so I just appreciate her so much. That was life-changing for me, and then to be able to find a way to combine honoring with activity, the thing that's keeping me alive, that's so good for people, and our loved ones, they can't do these things anymore. And so, like, just the whole concept's beautiful, and I just appreciate her so much because of that awareness that absolutely, the heroes who lose this battle are just as worthy of honor as every other. So anyway, Thank you, Keri.
Thank you.
Thank you indeed. And I want to bring something up to Rosie that I think is important. We talked about this. We've talked about this before privately. The survivors, the parents, the survivors, there's such a risk within the first year of, say, a parent also taking their life after losing a child, for instance. And I know, I want to raise awareness about that because, after this happens, well, oftentimes the families get forgotten. And I think people around them, it's such an awkward thing and a taboo thing. They just assume that, these family members are getting some mental health treatment, they're getting the social services they need. Not always, and not often, actually. And I know that just last year, I think it was one of the mothers of one of the young Marines who you carry, took her life. should have given you a trigger warning about this, but do you want to address
That's
that?
Okay.
Address that briefly with
I
us?
think has it been 2 or 3 years?
Is it that?
It might
Okay.
have been, but yeah, I ran for her son for a year, and we spoke a lot on the phone because we both had sort of, her experience was way more traumatic than mine, but they are both terrible. But, she seemed to be doing okay. And she actually came and met me at the finish line one time and gave me some beautiful gifts honoring like the Marines I run for. And then the same month, like to a year that her son passed away, she took her life. And they say like the first year, but I would say it's probably the first 3 years that risk is pretty high. And then it's always there, which is crazy. Like,
because it's been how long for Dex?
You think you're okay?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been 7. Yeah. And has it been 7 years? I don't. Anyway, but you never know. Like, you're fine, and then you just will have a day where you just like get crushed by it, and you're like, I can't do this anymore, And it just comes and you learn how to get through it. But I know that I found ways to get through it, but I know that other parents don't necessarily, and so somebody may have lost their child 10 years ago, and then they fought long enough and they're done. I see that a lot in some of the grieving like groups I'm in where that happens. So it is, like the survivor rate is high, or it's above the national average, definitely.
And I think we need to do much better to raise awareness that we need to not isolate as much, because as both you recall, remember I did one of my 5Ks with the Chicago Police Department for their suicide prevention ruck. You remember that? And I wanted to, I contacted one of the chaplains of the Chicago Police Department at District 1 over there, and I said, hey, could we set up a similar kind of situation where we carry the officers on our back and honor them? None of the families, they were so devastated they couldn't even speak of their loved ones, because at the end they couldn't even talk about it. There was such horrible deep grief, such terrible searing grief. And we had walked for 28 officers who had taken their lives within the last 3 years, and all their names were read at the end of the ruck, but then the families had no more emotional energy in them to even speak their names anymore, and that broke my heart. So so if we can shatter the stigma, shatter the taboo, it's okay to talk about it, but acknowledge that it's a grief. It's never going to go away, and that we always have to. And it's not linear, like you said. You could be fine for a year, or just not fine, but getting by, and then all of a sudden something triggers you, and you're on the edge, and that's natural, but we have to be there for each other long term. I think we really need to do better. We really need to reach out more, and 22 Too Many is doing a wonderful crucial part in helping us all heal. So we just got to keep going. So Any closing thoughts? What would both of you tell someone who just recently, as you know, Keri, we had somebody, we just recently interviewed Aaron Suarez, who lost 2 service member friends to suicide, and he wants to carry his friends on his photos of his friends on his back and keep their names in his heart. What would you both say to somebody who just lost a loved one and doesn't know where to turn? What would you say to them how to cope? Well,
I'll go first, I guess. It's extremely isolating. Even the people that you love, your family, your kids, your spouse, your brothers, sisters, whatever, you will feel isolated from everyone. It's like you're in your own little world of pain, and no one understands. No one has been through pain like you're going through, and in your mind. And I think the biggest thing is you have to get connected, whether on Facebook or through personal experience, to someone else who suffered this loss. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't, you have to have someone who can help talk you through like what you're feeling. It's not normal. Nothing's normal about it, but like the emotions are so extreme that you really need to connect to a survivor. Like I tried to seeing like a therapist or grief therapy or counseling or whatever, and none of that helped me at all. The only thing that helped me was talking to other mothers who like were going through the daily pain of, and understood and just understanding somebody else gets this, and hearing that maybe someone who's a little further down the road, they're still alive and you can breathe, like a couple years from now, it won't hurt to take every breath. You know what I mean? So I think that's critical. Like the connection is, I think, the lifesaver of survivors.
And 22 Too Many connects those people with that specific trauma, and so it's life saving. Yeah. And gosh, we wouldn't. I have to again give Keri, and your other co-founder Dana. Well, I want to mention her name too. I want to say thank you to you both for founding such a valuable organization, because we still want to just brush this under the rug like it's not happening, and we can't do that. And I also want to mention that one of the Northwest Indiana, the Veterans of the Memorial Parkway, a local organization here in Northwest Indiana, is going to be building a Middle East memorial. And for the first time in Northwest Indiana, and I think most of Indiana, the memorial is going to mention the cause of death as suicide for the first time on the etching of the memorial. So, yes, and that's also how we help people to to heal, because up until now, you see an obituary so often, you don't see the cause of death if it's suicide, if it's known that it's suicide. No, they don't say it. It's unspoken.
Because the stigma. The stigma.
Right.
Yeah.
We got to shatter that. But then again, you can say all you want, let's shatter stigma, but then if you're not there for people while we're shattering it and all the feelings and the grief, we have to be there for people to be able that they can handle that while we're shattering it. So we really need to come together more than ever. And Rosie's son Dexter is going to be on a banner near the Middle East Memorial in Hebron. You sent me that beautiful photo of him in his dress blues and at boot camp dress blues. They were beautiful. I'll let you know when that's going to be going up. It's probably going to be going up around September. If somehow we can get you here financially for you to be here when it's flying, we'll make, and you Keri too. But yeah,
I'll ask you about this in an email or something.
Yes, yeah. But so yeah, we're. Anything else you want to add before we wrap things up that you think is extremely important to let our audience know?
I was just going to say.
Go ahead, Kim.
No, you go ahead. You have a good connection.
No, you go.
I was going to say, like when we are contacted by families that just have suffered a loss, the first thing I ask them, are you alone? Do you have support? Because like Rosie is saying, you can't just go to a general grief group. You have to have other suicide people who have been through that, I think, to really understand. And I've just seen amazing support within this community. So I'm proud. I always say, we call all our fallen, that lost their battle, we call them our heroes. But I always say the families are my heroes too, because they keep going. They do things. Nobody does what Rosie's doing. That's something different and unique. But there's plenty of people who do things in memory of their loved one to help others. And I just see that as when they're bearing their own grief, they're trying to help others. And I see that they're my heroes. So I appreciate these families. I've learned a lot about all this from them.
Rosie?
I guess I would say, whether you're a veteran or love a veteran, if you're struggling, there's help available. And no matter how dark things look, like there's always light, and there are people who want to help. And so, just don't give up. Life's worth living. It might not feel like it on a day-to-day basis, but if you can pull yourself enough out of the depression, I know you can't pull yourself out of depression, but just have enough vision to say, I can get beyond this. Like there's light and there's goodness and there are things to live for. And so, gosh, just reach out, Yep. Reach out to me. I mean, I don't know. I'll talk to you. We'll talk through it. it's worth surviving. It is.
You got to be all there for each other. Yeah. And what are the names of the mother? Is it Cruson? Is it the young man Cruson? Is that his mother?
Yes. Jake Cruson. Jennifer. That's his mother's name. So yeah, and I always carry a picture of her and him in my pack too, because I still run for him, but I carry her along too. So.
Could you mention everyone that you carry right now? I carry these 3 Marine Corps veterans. I carry your son, Dexter, PFC James Dexter Morris. I carry Corporal Kyle David Whistler, and I carry Chris Devil Dog Setchfield. Go ahead, Rosie.
Okay. I also carry PFC Morgan Bailey, Staff Sergeant Taylor Wilson, and Sergeant Jacob Gray. And then I also carry PFC Dylan Jetros. He's not a victim of suicide. He was killed in action, but he's my best friend's nephew. And him and Dexter are buddies. I know it. They watch out for me, so I run for him too. So I got my packs full of pictures.
Yeah, here's a picture of, this is Jen. It's hard. Jen and Jake in a picture. Well, it's hard to see, but it's a picture of the both of them. And Rosie, that's 2 of the ones that Rosie carries.
Beautiful.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Froggy. Tell us how we can. You have a Facebook page. Tell us about Froggy Mountain, your race series.
All right, Froggy Mountain Adventures. I moved here about a year ago and purchased it this spring with my business partner, and it's on 11 acres of land in the mountains of Galax, Virginia, and we have a 1 mile race course, the 1 mile loop up through our beautiful forests, ferny forest here. But it's got about 500 feet of climb per mile. So in my opinion, it's like one of the top hardest 100 milers in the country. So, but we also do a 50K here. We do a 50 miler here. And on Halloween, we're doing just a 24-hour race where you can come and try and finish 50 miles. But, if you just want to come do a 5K, wear a costume, have fun, Anyway, just to give people a chance to experience it without trying to kill themselves. Kill
yourself bad. Kill yourself bad. Yes, that's not good. Yes.
It's an insane mental challenge. And everybody who comes here is so, we've had a lot of experienced ultra runners come here and they're just shocked because it seems so benign. It's a beautiful little trail and we have some frogs along the course and everything. But after a couple loops, you're like, oh my gosh, this is very underestimated.
Do you have any virtual events?
That's a good idea. We can create them. I should do that, actually.
If you do, I'll be the first to sign up. Okay. Yep.
Okay, I'll make a virtual option. That would be really fun. Maybe you have to do a certain amount of stairs or something. It's got a lot of climb, but we also make amazing food. So anybody, if you come out, you can camp for free. We got a nice little campground and mineral spring water, and then we just pick up a feast and just party. And my business partner's also a musician, so we all usually have some music, bluegrass, mountain music type,
nice,
stuff going on. And it's a party. It's a lot of fun.
Do you have a GoFundMe to help finance your hundreds or anything like that?
I do. It's on my there's a link on my my blog, which is the 100 hundreds for Dexter. There's a link to that, and that a shout out to anyone who's helped me this last year. My finances have been pretty tight, and then trying to plan to go to France has been pinching pennies. So it's helped a lot to be able to just because just the fees alone to run a race is $300 or $400, and then all your equipment and shoes and traveling, and I try to travel as cheap as possible, sleeping in my car and stuff. But every race is probably at least $600 on average, and that's just staying on the East Coast. So.
And some of them like Badwater are thousands, because when I ran Badwater 2007, that put me back several thousands of dollars. Of course, I had more money back then, but I couldn't afford to do something like that. But they can be expensive.
I would love to run that, but I can't afford it, so I don't even enter it. It cost me a couple $1,000 to go out to Ouray, just the travel and getting my crew out there, and then staying out there I had to stay out there for 3 weeks to acclimate, and so it adds up. So anyway, but I'm figuring out a way to do it. It's going to get getting done. So, but definitely donors have helped me a lot, especially this last year, being single and starting over. So.
Any closing thoughts, Stephen, Donna?
No, I'm just overwhelmed by what these women do, and I want to thank them from the bottom of my heart for helping not only the families but veterans as well, and bringing this to the forefront where it needs to be. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for being so open about your stories and coming on today. Thank you.
Yeah, and we are not going to ever let you down. We're always here for you. We're always here for you. So what's up next is August 29th through the 31st is the Ultra Trail du Mont Blanc in France. That's going to be number 96. If I could fly to France and help you, I would. I will be there. We will all be there in spirit. Yes. And
thank you.
So excited for you. And everyone go to 22toomany.org. Excuse me. That's the numeral 22, the word 2. TOO, and the word many, MANY.org. Get involved. Get involved somehow. We all have to be there for each other. If you are in crisis, call 988. Call or text it, add a 1. If you're a veteran, you can speak to somebody. But if you want to get involved with 22 Too Many and connect with co-founder Keri Jacobs, go to that website, 22toomany.org. Contact Keri. Get involved, even if you don't know somebody who's in crisis. 22 Too Many welcomes folks carrying our heroes and connecting to the families to help us all heal. And on that note, I want to thank you both so much for your time and your energy and talking about an extraordinarily painful yet very important subject to help us all heal. Rosie, Godspeed. I can't wait to follow your number 96 and send you some oorahs and Lord of the Rings, Erwin slaying the dragon, because that's who you are. And Keri, when you're going to be in this area again, because I know you had lived a little bit in Chicago Heights, Illinois, please let me know if you're going to come through the Chicago area.
Yeah,
again,
for sure.
I want to see you again. And but yeah, thank you both so much. Go ahead.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you. Love you, Connie.
Love you so much, both of you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
you.
All right.
All right.
All right. See you on the other side.
You've been listening to Beyond the Uniform podcast. Thank you for listening.